It seems a bit odd for me to be teaching you a topic that you know so much about. In fact, I would venture to say that all of you are in some way an expert, since you have been a consumer all your life. Think about your activities since you awoke this morning. You've likely eaten, dressed, checked your email and social media accounts, and you may have also made a purchase or two. All of these are activities involve consumer behavior to some degree or another. Some of these activities took very little thought, while others likely required your full attention. Almost all of the decisions you make are done so with the express purpose of improving your life, and your actions can also improve the lives of others. For example, the purchases you make set off a chain reaction of business activity among manufacturers, suppliers, shippers, and retailers. Much like the butterfly effect, which suggests that hurricanes and other weather phenomena all start with the flapping of a butterfly's wings, then an economic circle begins. So if we are all expert consumers, what do we gain by the study of consumer behavior? By better understanding consumers and the consumption process, managers can make better decisions regarding products and be more adept at analyzing consumers. Government agencies benefit as well by being able to create more effective laws and regulations regarding the sale and purchase of goods and services. Finally, consumers gain insight that can help them make wiser purchasing decisions. So our journey will also help us understand the factors that can influence overall human behavior, which hopefully can make us all better people. As was discussed in Lecture 1.3, the marketing concept is aligning all of the company's efforts on discovering and satisfying customer needs better than competitors. This doesn't mean that a company tries to satisfy every customer, only those that have been selected as its target market. And by focusing on satisfying needs rather than profit maximization, brands really realize greater success. The central way in which marketers can understand a customer's needs is to fully understand consumer behavior. To begin our study of consumer behavior, we must first have a working definition. For our purposes, we will use the following. Consumer behavior is the study of the processes involved when individuals or groups select, purchase, use, or dispose of products, services, ideas, or experiences to satisfy needs and desires. So while there are many benefits to studying CB, the focus of this course will be from a marketer's perspective. Along the way, you will hopefully gain insight into your consumer self, but the ability to clearly understand why consumers make decisions will be most valuable to you in your marketing careers. Central to consumer behavior is the consumer. Well, central to the consumer is the consumption process. So basically what we're looking at here is that the process that we go through as consumers in purchasing products. We have pre-purchase issues, which is deciding, do I need a product? What's the best source of information that's going to give me the different alternatives that are out there? The purchase issues, and then finally the post-purchase issue, such as, does the product that I purchased, does it perform like I wanted it to? Does it make me happy? What's the consequences of this purchase and things like that? So consumers look at the consumption process a little bit differently than the marketer does, because what they're looking at is how can we get more of our products into the hands of consumers. So we can look at it this way. Consumer behavior seeks to understand consumers as to why and how they make decisions. Marketing takes this information and incorporates it into marketing messages, product development, strategies, etc. So we're looking at how do we make decisions? Why do we make the decisions that we make? And how can marketers influence these decisions? It's important that we understand one fact about consumers and about a large portion of the population. They are sheep. They like to follow the crowd, believe most of what they are told, and purchase products because everyone else does. An easy example of this is looking at anywhere there are lines, whether it's a toll booth or a grocery store. Have you ever seen one lane growing larger and larger while another lane has very few cars or people in it? Then someone notices that the other lane is nearly empty and moves on, only to be followed by another and then another. This is the herd mentality, and people just follow along. In this regard, marketers must make sure to use their powers for good. The study of consumer behavior provides us with marketing information in three types: orienting, factual, and theoretical. First, studying CB orients managers and policymakers so that they can consider their actions on consumers. Its examination also provides us with facts, such as the size of a specific demographic group. But finally, the study of CB can help us develop better theories. So what is a theory? One definition suggests that a theory is a set of assumptions, propositions, and accepted facts that attempt to provide a plausible or rational explanation of some phenomena. Marketers draw from multiple disciplines to better understand consumer behavior. You will notice throughout this semester that I like quotes. And sometimes those that I try to tie it to a point that I'm trying to make. So this is also a good time to tell you that I have an add-on to Outlook, which I use to send email, that includes a random quote with each email I send out. Now I try to remember to check the quote before I hit the send button, but just in case, but sometimes I forget to do so. So if you send me an email and get a response with a quote such as, "Never argue with stupid people, they will drag you down to their level and beat you with their experience," from Mark Twain, this will be one of those times that I forgot to check what my quote was giving you. Or was it? But going back to the quote, Leonardo da Vinci basically said that he who loves practice without theory is like the sailor who boards a ship without a rudder and compass and never knows where he may cast. So what this means is that we have to be able to use theory and understand theory so that we are able to better understand what's going on in the marketplace. Our study of consumer behavior would not be possible without the efforts that have gone on in other disciplines. For example, economics, which is the study of production and consumption. However, the study of consumers under an economic model is limited to a macro study or a big study of all buyers. Psychology, on the other hand, is the study of human reactions to their environment. And two key areas in psychology, social and cognitive psychology, are especially relevant to the study of consumer behavior. Social psychology examines the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that represent these reactions. Cognitive psychology, though, involves the intricacies of a consumer's mental reaction involved in the information processing. So every time a consumer evaluates a product, sees an ad, or reacts to the consumption of a product, information is being processed. On the other hand, sociology is the study of groups of people within a society and is important as consumption takes place within group settings or is affected by group dynamics. Finally, anthropology allows researchers to better understand the relationship between consumers and the things they purchase, the things they own, and the activities that they participate. So all of these subdisciplines, or big disciplines if you will, are going to be important in our study and understanding of consumer behavior. So based on the other disciplines that influence consumer behaviors, there are basically three basic views or perspective that drives our behavior: the decision-making perspective, the experimental perspective, and the behavioral influence perspective. It is important to note that these perspectives are not independent of each other. We use them at different times for different decisions that we make. So let's look at each one of these. As economics is the sun source of business thinking, the decision-making perspective is rooted in the idea that consumers are rational in their purchases. Based on this view, we see consumers as moving through a series of steps when making a purchase. To demonstrate this, imagine that you walk out to your car and find that you have a flat tire. Never a joyous moment for sure. So after getting the spare installed, you realize that your tires have very little thread left and you need 4 new tires. So you've just entered the first stage of the decision-making process, need recognition. From here, you will gather information, evaluate the various options or the various choices in tires, make the purchase decision, and then evaluate the experience. We're going to discuss the decision-making process in greater depth throughout the semester, but the important part here is that we realize that for this experience, we are acting in a very rational way. But do we always make purchase decisions rationally? From our own experiences, we know that the answer is no. We don't always rely on being rational in our decision making. Oftentimes, we seek to have fun, create fantasies, or experience feelings. This perspective also includes impulse buying and variety-seeking behavior, such as switching brands just to reduce boredom. The understanding of consumers' need for something more than just a product has led to the success of companies like Starbucks, where people are buying more than just a cup of coffee. They're also buying the entertainment level based on a bit of theatrics from the baristas that create the drink, rather than just fill a cup from a coffee pot. There's also the atmosphere of a Starbucks that encourages people to stay longer. So our understanding of the experimental perspective comes from research in motivational psychology, sociology, and anthropology. Oftentimes I want to bring in some research that has come out recently, or things that I find that may be interesting to you. And we talked earlier about buying something that we didn't plan on. Well, research has shown that 85% of consumers report that they frequently or occasionally purchase items they didn't need or didn't plan to buy. So it's not just you, and it's not just me. A lot of us do it. The decision-making and experimental perspective focus on the internal elements that shape our buying habits. However, we are also influenced by external elements or pressures. The behavioral influence perspective argues that strong external forces can cause us to make purchases without developing a strong internal desire. In other words, we can be influenced by our culture, the physical environment, sales promotions, such as contests. For example, my 10-year-old son is very much into Star Wars. He has a very large collection of Star Wars Lego sets and collects almost anything related to the franchise. Before the latest episode, The Last Jedi, I noticed that one of our local grocery chains here in Georgia, Bilo, has a promotion running where you can receive Star Wars Cosmic Shells, which are like trading cards with certain levels of purchase. Now, of course, I'm a Star Wars fan, which is how my son gained his interest, but the comic shells held no interest for me. But I knew that this would be something that his friends would be talking about, and of course went to Bilo instead of our normal supermarket for groceries, just so I could get these cosmic shells for him. If we think about it, most of the purchases we make will have some element of each of these perspectives, which is one of the reasons why the study of consumer behavior is so exciting and valuable to marketers. However, it does require that we truly understand customers.
Hey there. Long time no see. Looking good.
Yeah. Let's just keep this simple. I want a divorce.
What now?
I think you heard me just fine.
Come on. This is me. What's wrong?
We don't talk anymore.
I just put down a mill on a TV commercial just to talk to you.
Exactly. You do all the talking. I never get a chance.
Talk on our website, can't you?
Sure. If I want to say, order this product.
See?
It's not exactly a dialogue.
What about the print campaign, You can't tell me you missed the billboard in Times Square. That was like a 200-foot tall declaration of love.
You're saying you love me, but you're not behaving like you love me. It's not genuine.
I don't know. The agency said I was genuinely being funny, genuinely being charming. They said you would love everything I did.
Would you keep your voice down? You're not doing a radio commercial. Look, whether you're funny or not, it's just, I've changed, and you haven't. I mean, we don't even hang out in the same places anymore. You're not even listening, are you?
Coupons. You want coupons, don't you? Look, come by the store. I got 2 words for you. Loyalty, reduction. Am I right? That was it, wasn't it? Let's just hug.
If you knew me, you'd know I don't care about that.
Know you? Sweetheart, I know everything about you. You're 28 to 34. Your online interests include music, movies, and laser hair removal. You have a modest but dependable disposable income. Am I the only one not getting the problem here?
I'm out of here.
Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Look, I'll tell you what. Come back here tomorrow. I'll give you the chance to win a Bahamas vacation. There's a small chance, minuscule, but technically still a chance. I want to be like the old days.
So understanding the customer is the only way to be able to fully implement the marketing concept and start to build true customer loyalty. So to help us fully understand the study of consumer behavior, this course will be organized around the exchange process, or understanding why people purchase products and service. We will look at individual influences and the environmental influences that affect our decision making. The goal, as I said previously, is to make you a better marketer and also a more informed consumer. So throughout the semester, like I said, I want to share with you some of the results from studies that have been conducted by consumer behavior researchers. For example, there have been numerous studies on how the method of payment affects consumers' perceptions of value. One recent study out of the University of Toronto sought to answer the question of why the way we pay influences how much we value our purchase. So what they did is they basically did an experiment where participants were asked to buy a coffee mug, normally priced at $6.95 for the discounted price of $2. They could choose to either pay with cash or credit card. 2 hours later, they were asked to sell back that same mug at a price of their choosing. So despite the fact that it was the same mug, owed for the same amount of time, those who paid with cash wanted nearly $3 more than those that had paid with a credit card. Cash buyers reported being more emotionally attached to their mug. So their findings suggest that when you pay with cash, you are parting with a very tangible asset rather than a digital one that comes out of a credit card. And that when it feels easy to pay for something, it may make us feel less connected to what we're trying to buy. So to get the most out of your non-everyday purchases, pay with cash rather than plastic. So a word of caution is needed here. I will not cover every topic that is included in the textbook, as I will leave that up to you. I will also cover topics that are not included in the text. However, you are fully responsible for all material covered in my lectures and in the textbook. With that in mind, your assignment for the weeks are post a bio or a brief introduction video of yourself on Canvas, and 2, take quiz 1. Quizzes will cover material from both my lectures and the text, and you may only take the quiz one time. And again, it is timed. Next week, we're going to go outside the textbook and focus on managerial implications of consumer behavior. I have posted an article titled "The Elements of Value" that you should read and comment on during the week. You will also have your first homework assignment, which is creating a perceptual map, also due next week. Have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you then.